Hey kids, welcome to lesson 3.7, comparing objects. Kids, you're not crazy. You have seen this before. Comparing objects is a little different than comparing primitive type values like numbers. Objects can be very complex and have many attributed values or instance variables inside them. For example, the turtle object may have many instant variables like name, width, height, position, x and y, etc., etc., etc. When comparing two turtle objects, we need a specifically written equals method to compare all of these values. In this lesson, we will take a look at a string object and how they are compared with the equal versus the equal method. Kids, the heart of this lesson is going to be about the next two paragraphs, so pay attention. The equals method for string compares two string letters by letter. S1 equals S2 is true if S1 and S2 have all the same characters in the same order. With strings and other objects, you almost always use the equals instead of equal to check their equality. When the operator equal is used to compare object variables, it returns true when the two variables refer to the same object. These variables are called object references and aliases for the same object. With strings, this happens when one string variable is set to another. And here we got our string. We have a new string A, which is going to be the string hi. We have a new string B, which is by. Then we're creating a new string C, which is going to be equal to B. And here you can see that visually. A is hi, B and C, well, those are by. And we can compare which one is equal or not. If you run the following code, what's going to be printed? Let's take a look at our code. We have our string S1, that's a new string hello. We have a string S2, that's equal to new string, which says bye. String 3 is going to be equal to string 2. So string 3 is now a bye. So system.out.print S3, well, 3 and 2 are equal. That should be bye. It's going to ask, is S2 equal to S3? Ooh. And remember, kids, we have these two different ones. S1 dot equals S2 is true if S1 and S2 have the same character. So this is just saying if it's actually true letter by letter. Equal is that if it's the same object. Well, equal is the same object. 2 is equal to 3. So that is going to be true. And is by the same by, BYE. So I think it's going to be true. What I think is going to print out is going to be by true. Let's see if I'm right. By true. Well, that's why those print out, kids. Don't forget to watch this amazing video. It's going to explain this lesson much better than I do. Here's just a cool little visualization of what was happening up there. Here is the stack, and this is S2 and S3. They're both pointing to the same object, so either one you call, they're getting the same little blueprints. If you use the new keyword to create a string, it will always create a new string object. So even if we create two string objects with a new that contain all the same characters in the same order, they will not refer to the same object. Remember, kids, strings can't be destroyed, right? That means they can't be the same either. What's the following going to print out? Well, S1 is hello, S2 is hello. And this one's asking, is S1 equal to, remember, back up here, kids, compare the objects, are one the same as the other one? So this is saying, is this the same as the other one? Well, because they're two different ones, This should be false, I think, kids. And then this one's asking, is this one exactly the same? Is it hello and hello? I think it's going to be false true. Let's see if I'm right. False true. And this is just saying, even though kids, hello and hello are the same thing, they're not the same object. They're two different things. Again, kids, another awesome video. Make sure you watch it. It'll explain this much better. Just a visualization and just saying again, these are equals, but they're not equals with strings. So just keep that in mind. We have to remember our difference between the equal and equals. String literals behave a little differently because they are reused if they already exist inside of creating a new object. But you should not see questions with string literals and equal on the AP exam, but you should know about it. Note, only use equal with primitive types like int or to test if two strings for objects refer to the same object. Use equals, not equal with strings to test if they're equal letter by letter. Again, kids, keep that in mind. That's the heart of this lesson. Which of the following is true after the code executes? S1 is a new string high, S2 is a new string by, S3 is a new string high, and then S2 is going to equal S1. So it should be high all the way down. Now let's see what looks right down here. S1 equal S2. Well, does S1 equal S2? Yeah, they refer to the same object, so that's right. Does S1 equal S3? Well, no, they don't, because S1 and S3 are different objects. Only S1 and S2 are linked, so that one is not true. Same thing down here. Is this true? This is. And does S1 equal S3? So does our high all the way down here, are all these letters going to be equal? Yeah, they absolutely are. So I think that's going to be my right one. This one right here, S1 does not equal S2. Well, this one's true, so this one has to be false. So this one's false. We can short circuit it. We know if one of them is false, we don't even have to check the second one. That one is correct. Which is following is true after the code executes? Again, we have string 1 high, string 2 by, string 3 high. In here, S1 equals S2. Well, those aren't equal. And we know because one isn't true, we don't even have to check the second one because of the and. So that one is false. S2 equals S3. So S2 equals S3 in letters. Well, that's false, kids. We don't have to check it because of the and. Let's go through and just double check this one just to make sure. S1 does not equal S3. So these two objects are not the same. And S1 equals S3. Well, high and high letters equal, but they are not the same objects. So C is correct. Which of the following is true after the code executes? String 1, high. String 2, by. String 3, high. The first one, S1 equals S3. Well, these aren't the same objects, so that is false. We don't have to even check for the second one. S2 equals S3, by equals high. Well, again, kids, that's not true. And then look, kids, we have some not statements. S1 equals S2. Well, that's not true, but we have our not, so that makes it true. And S1 equals S3. Again, that's not true. So your answer is C. Comparing with null. One common place to use equal or not equal with objects is to compare them to null to see if they really exist. Sometimes short circuit evaluation is used to avoid an error if the object doesn't exist. Remember that short circuit evaluation is used with the and in Java, meaning that the first part, if the condition is false, it doesn't even have to check the second condition to know if the whole and test is false. Kids, we were just doing that, so we know exactly what that is. Try the following code to see a null point error. If you don't see an error, it is because of the auto grading. You can copy it into the pencil icon scratch area to run it without the auto grader. And kids, you can't see that on my screen. That's just up there next to your profile. It'll bring up this little box. Again, you can't see it fully because I'm zoomed in a little. Since S is null, index of throws a null point error for S. Comment out the first if statement and run the program again. The second if statement avoids the error with shortcut evaluation. Because S is not equal to null is false, the rest of the Boolean expression is not evaluated. Now change S to set it to apple instead of null in the first line and run the code again to see if that if statement can print out the apple contains an A. Woo! It's a lot to do there, kids. Let's hit save and run and see what happens here first. We don't get any kind of error. I'm going to copy this, paste this into here. Let's hit save and run. As you can see, kids, down here we have our null test error. Just because we can't see it here doesn't mean it doesn't exist, kids. Again, it's the auto grader. Let's go ahead and take a look at this code real quick. We have our string S, which is set to null. If S and the index of A is greater than 0, so if there is an A greater than the position of 0, then it's going to print this off. Since it's not, we're going to get that error right there. And we're not going to get anything printed off. If we do have something, we should get that contains an A. Our second if statement here is if S is not null and S index is greater than or equal to 0, then we're going to get S contains an A. That means if we just comment this out, kids, right here like this, then let's comment it all out, kids. Let's take a look at our if statement here. Our second one, if S is not equal to null and the index of A is greater than 0, then we're going to get a print off. But if you remember up to our top part up here, the second if statement avoids the error with the shortcut evaluation. Because S not equal to null is false, the rest of the Boolean expression is not evaluated. So this one right here is just double checking the shortcut error right there. So if I hit save and run, I shouldn't get anything again. Let's see if that's true, kids. And I don't get anything again. Let's take away our comments. And the third thing they wanted us to do was change this to apple. So let's put apple in here. Now when we run it, the A is, now when we run it, well, yeah, our A is in a position greater than or equal to 0, so it should run. This short circuit part right here will still run too because, again, kids, this is also true. So let's hit save and run. Whoop. I think we need some quotes here, kids. Now we get apple contains an A twice because, again, both of these are true. Both of these are true now. Again, This is just your short circuit one where you don't even got to bother to test the rest of it if it's null. And then this one is just testing for it. So again, kids, same things, just showing you the short circuit usefulness just once again. Kids, we have another amazing video. Make sure you take a watch. Again, this will show you how the null string reference works in memory. We have our programming challenge, tracing code. What will the following code print out? Trace through the code by drawing a diagram of what is going on in the memory, like the figures above, and then show the values of S1, S2, S3, and S4 in the output of each line of the code. Remember that you can use trace tables to track the values of the variables as they change throughout a program. To trace through a code, write down a variable in each column in a table and keep track of its value throughout the program as you go through it line by line. Kids, we're going to try to do this without a table. I have one written down here. Maybe one will pop up on the screen if I'm a good teacher, or nothing if I'm being lazy this particular day. Let's take a look at our code here. We have our string 1 is null, S2 is a new string high, S3 is a new string high, S4 is a new string by. We have null, high, high, by. Now, if S1 equal null, S1 equal S2, well, now S1 is equal to S2, so high, 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 by. Does S1 equal S2? Well, kids, this was nothing, and we set it to something, so this is now the same object. So in this instance, S1 is S2. We are going to get this line printed out. Is S2 the same as S3? Well, no, kids, these aren't the same object. We didn't set them equal to each other. They aren't the same things. In this case, even though they both say hi, they're not the same thing, so we're not going to get that to print off. Is S3 equal to S4? Well, the same problem as above. They're not even the same word, so they're not the same things, so these don't work. Does S1, which is now high, equal S3, which is high, but this is in letters? We're going to print this off. What's going to be printed off then? Well, kids, it was this first one that I said here, and this last one that I said here. So both of those answers are what's going to be printed off by tracing this code down. We have our summary here, kids. Often classes have their own equal methods, which can be used to determine whether two objects of the class are equivalent. Two objects referenced are considered aliases when they both reference the same object. Object reference values can be compared using the equal to and the not equal to identify aliases. A reference value can be compared with null using equal or not equal to determine if the reference actually references an object. There you go, kids. That is lesson 3.7. Hopefully you found that helpful, and hopefully you enjoyed Unit 3, because this is the last lesson. The next couple of videos on Unit 3 are all going to be review. So hopefully you found this helpful. As always, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, kids, I'll see you on the next video. See you later, kids. Bye. Bye.